The Yamaha F310 is a popular choice for beginner guitarists. The two questions on everybody's lips that I'm going to answer in this video: what is the most expensive donut in the world? That would probably be the Golden Crisp Ube. And should you buy a Yamaha F310? As this is part of my educational review series, I want to improve your knowledge about guitars in general and not just tell you the features of the F310. So the two main elements I want to focus on in this video are firstly the difference between steel string acoustic guitars and nylon string guitars, and secondly the number one thing that has the biggest impact on the sound of an acoustic guitar that all guitarists need to be aware of. Then I'll finish this video with some musical examples and comparisons. Before you go and buy yourself a Yamaha F310, you need to ask yourself, what is the reason for looking at this guitar? Are you a complete beginner and this is going to be your first guitar? Have you played for some time and it's going to be your first steel string guitar? Or is this a guitar that you want to add to your collection of guitars? If you're a complete beginner, then I strongly advise that you consider a 3/4 size nylon string guitar instead of the Yamaha F310. Something like a Yamaha CS40. The reason for that is because the string tension on a nylon string guitar, like the CS40, is about half that of a steel string guitar like the F310, and that makes it easier for a complete beginner to play. Also, the F310 is a full-size guitar, whereas the CS40 is a 3/4 size guitar, which again makes it easier for a complete beginner to play the music they want to learn, and to progress quicker than if they tried to learn on a full-size guitar from day one. The only reason to ignore the advice I just gave you would be if you have massive hands, or if you really love the sound of a steel string guitar that much more than that of a nylon string guitar. And I'll play you some examples at the end of this video to help you decide on which sound you prefer. The reason this is important is because passion is the reason to play music. And if you have more passion for the sound of your guitar and the look and feel of your guitar, then you are going to play it more. And playing more is the way to get better. A guitar that is easier to play, that doesn't inspire you to pick it up and play it, isn't going to help you progress as quickly as a guitar that is more difficult to play, but that you pick up and play regularly because you love it so much. If the difference in sound and the look of the guitar doesn't make much of a difference to you, and you have average size hands, then in my professional opinion, you'll achieve more, faster with a Yamaha CS40 than an F310. And if you do have big hands, then I'd still consider a full-size nylon string guitar, like the Yamaha C40, over the F310 for your first guitar. And all the guitars I just mentioned are basically the same price. If you are not a complete beginner and you are looking at the F310 as your first steel string guitar, or to join your collection of guitars, then my second point is of more importance to you. And this is hopefully something you've never heard anyone say before, as it's my goal to get at least one thing in that almost no one else is saying into each of my videos. Drum roll please. It is the shape of an acoustic guitar that has the biggest impact on the sound of the guitar. And I'll say that again. It is the shape of an acoustic guitar that affects its sound more than any other factor. Acoustic guitars come in all sorts of shapes, including jumbo, dreadnought, auditorium, orchestra, concert, and more. And then we have modifications to the basic shapes such as round-backed and cutaway. And each shape has its own sound profile or sound characteristics. If you like the sound of a jumbo more than the sound of a dreadnought, then buying the most expensive dreadnought won't give you as much as what you want as a much cheaper jumbo. Spending more money on an acoustic guitar will just refine and improve what is already present in the sound created by the shape. The practical advice from this is that you should listen to the sound of each different type of guitar in the same price bracket, and then listen again to the sound from each different type of guitar in a higher price bracket, and reflect and make notes on the similarities, differences, and most importantly, your preferences. The Yamaha F310 is a dreadnought. That means it has a large lower area called the lower bout and square shoulders. As a side note, round shoulder dreadnoughts also exist. And almost all dreadnoughts will sound relatively loud with a strong middle frequency. Great for strumming, but possibly not optimum for fingerstyle playing. But it really depends on what you consider to be the ideal sound for the type of music you want to play. And just because I don't think it's optimum for a specific style of music doesn't mean you won't find it to be amazing for the same style of music. That's one of the many beautiful things about a subjective art form. Hopefully this helps. I'll put the spec of the F310 at the end of this video, and I'll leave you with some examples of the sound I can get out of the Yamaha F310 versus a couple other guitars, including a 3/4 size guitar, because a change in the size of a guitar is also a change in the shape of a guitar. So changing the size of a guitar will also affect the type of sound produced. Remember, there is the type of the guitar, which will affect how easy or difficult it is to physically play, and then there's the shape of a guitar, including its size, which will also affect the overall sound. I'm Pete Cook, soundtuition.com.